This video is a quickie on how I make my F-bombs. I know there's multiple patterns out there with different variations, but this is my variation. I've had many people buy it. It's really soft and squishy. I've had a teacher buy it for his classroom. I've had a family buy it for stocking stuffers for each member of the family. And I've even had my pharmacist buy half a dozen. So I'm going to show how this is done. I'm not going to knit or crochet every single row because it's too hard on my hands. It starts at the bottom, and if you notice, it's a spiral. So you're not doing rolls or rounds, you're just spiraling around and around. And when you look at the pattern, it shows you these numbers. I think the one I've got on my website, stitchniche.com, has these numbers. If not, send me an email and I'll send you a copy that does. What I like about these numbers is these are done in sets of X amount of stitches and repeated 6 times. And sometimes as you're counting, you lose track of your count. So it's supposed to be every 5 stitches, and you do 2 singles in 1 to number 10, then you do 2 singles in 1, and then you do the singles to 15, then you do 2 singles in 1 and do singles up to 20. So I found this helps me keep the count in my head. Otherwise, I have to use markers and be in a quiet room where no one's around me. So this is a great way of keeping track of what roll I'm on. Now I'm going to do it with a fatter yarn just so you get an idea of how I do it. And it starts with a magic ring, and then you do 6 singles in the magic ring, and then you do 2 single crochets and 8 single crochet around, so you have 12. So let's get started. You start with a loop like you're going to make a loop, but you're not going to make a loop. You're just going to bring the loop up and do a single crochet in that big loop. And I pull it a little bit tight, so this one is my single crochet that I use for stitch number 1. And then you've got to do 6 of them. So this is 2. I'm not used to using this hook, so if I'm a little fumbly, please forgive me. Okay, there's 3. I'm not going to do that much on it. I'm just going to get you started. 4, 5, 6. Okay, so there's my 6 singles. And you notice there's a big hole. Well, that's going to be taken care of when you pull this tail. You pull it really tight, and it closes up on you. Then you come over to your first stitch, insert your hook, and row 2 says do 2 singles in each stitch around, so you have a total of 12. I'm sorry, I didn't bring it down far enough. Okay, and I always bury this in my first round so I don't have to weave it in later. So there's 2 stitches in each of these. So there's 1, 2. The first one's always the tightest. After that, they get easier. Go to the next stitch. That's number 3 and 4. And then you go to the next stitch. So there's 5 and 6. Now you normally do this with worsted weight yarn on a size G hook. The reason you do it on a G hook, this is 7 and 8, is it makes the stitches smaller, so when you stuff it, the stuffing doesn't poke out. Okay, that was 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so now I got my 12, and this is where that counting comes in handy I was telling you about. So it's 2 singles in the next stitch, then a single in the next stitch. Repeat it 6 times, so you have a total of 18. So the first set is 3 stitches, so it's 3. The next set is 3 stitches, so 3 plus 3 is 6. The next set is 3 stitches, so 6 plus 3 is 9. So that's how you work around it. So let's start. 1, 2. Next stitch is 3. Okay, so now we go back to our 2 again. 4, 5, 6. So now we got to go to 9. So it's 7 and 8 in 1 stitch, and then 1 stitch next to it. That makes 9. That's one of my little knots. And the next is 12, so it's 10, 11, 12, and then 15, 13, 14, and 1 makes 15. And then the last set takes you to 18. So this is 16, 17, one more makes 18. But as you see, I didn't join, I'm just going around in a spiral. Now the next one says 2 singles in the next stitch, and then single in each, I've already did that one. So it's 2 singles in the next stitch, and then single crochet in the next two stitches, and repeat it 6 times, so it gives you 24 stitches. After I finish this one, I will go to the next phase, because then the rest of this is repetitive. All right, so now we got to do 1, 2, 3, 4. So then we do 2 singles together, that's 5 and 6. Then we do singles till we get to 8, 7, 8. We do 2 singles together, that's 9, 10, and we go to 12. You see how this kind of works itself around, and you don't have to have a marker. And just keep repeating this. And after you do row 6, and you got 36 stitches, then you're just going to repeat single crochet in each stitch around. It makes 36, and then you do the next one and repeat around until you get to the 48. So my next one here, which one is it? Oh, I did them both to the same spot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, this one is, I've done all the way around up to row 10. So this is where I had, let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Row 6 is where I had 36 stitches, and I put a marker there. The next row said to just single crochet each around, which is 36. So I just put a marker here so I know that was the end of my row. So then I just did single crochet around until I got back, and that was my 36. The next one is another set of increases to 42. So at this point, I do the increases around, and it takes me to this point. Then when I do the singles around, it takes me to this point. So this just helps me remember where I'm at. And I'm just now finishing up the last of this 48 here. So let me pull this pin off. So I think I had 5 stitches left. I know it's a kind of a dark color, but I hope you can see it. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I got one more, 5. I'm up to here. This made 48 stitches, and that took me right to here. Now it says rounds 11 through 15 single crochet in each stitch around. So you still have 48 stitches in each of the next 4 rounds. So what I would do is I do 1, then I move my marker up to the last stitch, number 48. So then I just start single crocheting around. I don't have to count, I don't have to pay attention. I just keep going around and around and around. Let me go around 1 full time. Because you don't count row 11 till you're back to the marker. So let me see if I can get around fairly quickly. I don't like to waste your time. Your time is very important. I know you can always pause the video and come back to it, or pause, go to the next step, and then turn it back on, whichever works best for you. I hope you enjoy my videos. If you do, please subscribe. I'm going to try to start doing more videos more often, because so many ladies really enjoy some of the different designs and knitting and crocheting stitches that I do. So I'm halfway around, so I'm getting close. Also, share them with your friends if you know another crocheter that you think would love to do this F-bomb or one of my other crochet projects. Give them my address or share it with them, whichever works best. That way we can keep going and doing more and more videos. Oh, I'm 3/4 of the way around now. I can feel the marker in my middle of my hand. Now, if for some reason the volume is not high enough, turn the volume up on your computer too. I've got my iPad volume up to max, and I've got my face as close to my iPad as I can get and still see what I'm doing. Okay, see, I'm just about back to that marker. So once I get to this marker, that'd be 45, 46, 47, and the marker makes 48. Okay, so I've just completed round 11 because that's one past the marker. And you got to do it through to round 15. So if you look at this one, I'm just about around. Let me pull this off. I've lost that stitch. Let me pull it back. Okay. So let me go around to where I line up with this marker. I've got like 5 stitches here. Okay. I think I need one more. It doesn't matter if you're off by 1. It all works out in the end. Okay, so now this would be row 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So now we're going to start our decrease to close the ball around the other way. So row 16 is single crochet a decrease in 1 stitch and then single in the next 5, repeat around. So you're actually doing 7 stitches because you don't want to keep repeating 8 because that defeats the purpose, so you go down to 7. So a decrease stitch is yarn over, pull through 1 loop, yarn over, pull through the 2nd loop, yarn over, go through all 3. That is a 1 stitch decrease, so that's 1 stitch. Then we do stitch number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now we just finished there. So now we got to go to stitch 14. So we do our decrease again over 2 stitches. So that's stitch 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so now I just finished up to 14. Now we're going to go to 21. So we do our double stitch, our decrease, yarn in first stitch, yarn in the 2nd stitch, or you have 2, 3 yarn overs. Yarn over, go through all 3. So now that makes stitch number 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay, so now we got, oh, get that out of there. So now we're up to 21, and you want to complete this around, and you keep going around and around and around until you come to about the 24 stitch mark, like right about here. And when you do that, you're going to have a hole. I forgot to bring my stuffing out here. I'm not going to waste your time and go get it. But at this point, you would stuff it. And you don't stuff it to where it's coming out. You want to leave a little looseness here because you still have a couple more rounds of decreases to do in order to close it up. And it's going to be very tight to work on because you're going to have this all stuffed at the bottom. And when you get near the top, like number 18, or halfway through the next round, put some more stuffing in it, and that way it'll fill the top part out a little bit more, and then you'll be ready to close. Let's see, do I have one that's, yeah. See, this one I've closed, and you can see there's still a little bit of a hole. Let me bring it up. There's still a little bit of a hole at the top because I don't close it all the way. You don't have to close it all the way because you're going to put your fuse and your cap there. Now, in this one, I've already sewed my F onto it. You make your F. The directions are there too. You lay your F, I'll just put it on the back side. You lay your F centered on the ball. I usually put 2 long straight pins. One to hold the top of the F, one to hold the bottom of the F. And of course you need a needle. The directions on how to crochet this are on the back page. So you go in, bring your needle up into the white, pull it tight, and then you just keep going around and around until you sew the F on. And as you get to each of the straight pins, pull them out. That way if you have to adjust each of the legs of the F, you can do it because the pins could get in your way. So once you got the F finished, I'll get this off, then it's time to do your cap. And your cap is 3 parts. Let me get this out of here because that might get in our way down the line. Okay, your cap is in 3 parts. You've got the main part of the cap that you do first. Then you got to make your wick and then tie your wick inside. I always put a drop of glue. I want to make sure mine doesn't come out. So I put a drop of glue on it, let it dry. So you got that part of your cap. Then the next part you have is your flame. So with the flame, you want 3 colors. I use a bright yellow, bright red, and bright orange. Grab your crochet hook. Go into the top of your wick. It's a little tight. And you pull your yarn through. You make it like a tassel, then pull it through on itself. And pull it really tight. What I like to do is pull each one last time, just to make sure it's really tight, because you don't want it to work itself loose. Okay, and once you get those on, then you trim them about an inch, inch and a quarter, something like that. Then holding it with your fingers, you want to put a needle in and shred these. You just keep going like this until they're all shredded. You can do it manually too if you want it with your fingers, but I found that takes a lot longer and they're not as fuzzy. Just keep going like this until they're all fuzzed out to where you want them. Let's see, do I have one on? Here's one. See how it's all fuzzed out? You want to keep doing that until it's fuzzed out. Now I will show a little quickie on how to start your wick. Let me turn the page over. Okay, the letter F, we talked about the top cap. And this one's done with 5 instead of 6, so it's a little bit smaller. And then you have to, this one you do joining, because you want these to be nice rounds. And at one point you crochet through the back loop only, so we'll get to that when we get there. Now I'm doing this with the regular worsted weight yarn. And you do 5, so there's 1, there's 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me see if I can enlarge this a little bit more. Maybe it's a little easier to see. Okay, then you pull it tight. So it closes up your hole. And you want to do 10 single crochets in the 5, so it's 2 single crochets in each one. It looks like it's not going to work for me this evening. Okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Once I get past this first round, that they get a little easier to do. 7, 8. It's just strictly all single crochets. There's no doubles anywhere in this entire pattern. Okay, there's 9, 10. Okay, so I've done 10. Now we're going to do 2 singles in the next stitch, and then a single in the stitch after that 5 times, so that way we're going to have 15. So let's count those out, and we'll wrap the tail in here. So it's 1, 2, 3, just like we did on the bottom of the palm. 4, 5, 1 over here makes 6, and then 7, 8, 9. I want to get through the back loop part to show you that, then I'll go to the next step. Okay, I think that's 13. Okay, I think this will make 15 here. We'll double count just to make sure, but I'm pretty sure that's 15. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep, that's 15. So then you want to join them together by going in the first single crochet, top, yarn over, pull it through, and then pull it through this way. So there's your join. So then you do a chain 1, and you want to do 15 single crochets in the back loops, 1 in each one. So we do a single crochet here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now the next step is optional. You can join and go around, or you can just keep doing the spiral for 2 more rounds. It's entirely up to you which way you want to do it. So there would be number 15. So if you decide to join, you go into the next loop or stitch, yarn over, pull it through again. See, now you've got a ridge, and that ridge helps it lay, kind of makes it lay flat, so it makes like the cap shape. So if you do it this way, then you chain 1, and then you go around 15 more stitches, and you do that 2 more times. So by the time you're done, where'd my cap go? There's that back loop round that we just did, and then 2 more rounds, and that makes your cap lay flat. Then you make your wick, which is super quick and simple. You chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then you do a single crochet in each. Stitch across after you skip the first one. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you finish off. And there's the wick. And this you would put on the top of your cap. So like you'd put your hook in and grab one side and pull it through. And you come over here, grab one and pull it through. And then you tie it in the back. And there's your wick. And then you would put your flame on like I showed you with this other one that's nice and fuzzy wherever it went. Okay, so now let's go to the next section. Okay, I've got this one we're going to do. We take the fuzzy one. I always like to have my wick going off to the side this way. Let me bring this down a bit. So I set it. That's why I do my F first. That way my F is in position, and if I want my cap even, I go like that. If I want my cap off-centered, I can do like that. Then it's entirely up to you how you want to do it. So I get mine, I like mine centered. I normally do this against my chest or my stomach or someplace because it's really hard to hold being round. Put a couple of straight pins in to hold it in place. One in the back. The table is not the best place to do this. Okay, so you kind of got your cap where you want it. Let me take it down a little bit and get the paper out of the way. At this point, you get your needle and you're going to start sewing it together. You insert your needle right next to where your thread came out of. Go about 2 stitches over and poke your needle through. And when you do this, you want to make sure you pull it tight. You're constantly having to fuss with your cap to make sure it stays where you want it, because it will move around. Just trying to get it connected there. And you pull it tight because you want it to go down inside. Then you go to the next one. Let me get this straight pin out of the way. About right there, it looks like. Go up a couple of stitches and go through. Pull it tight. See how it makes it nice and smooth when you pull it tight? You go to the next one and pull it tight. And you do it all the way around until you get to like just a finger's loop left. Now, I didn't bring my stuffing, but see, at this point I put a little bit of stuffing in here. That helps the top of the cap stay up. And then after I put the stuffing in it, I put a couple of stitches in the top of the cap. I come up like this into the top, and then I go down and just kind of make it reasonably flat. And that'll help hold it flat for you so it'll stay nice and flat. Otherwise, it'll pop up like this and you don't really want it to pop up. And that's the way you make them. You can find the pattern on my website, stitchniche.com. Just look under F-bomb, it'll be there. And like I said, if you like my videos, please share, please subscribe, and thank you for watching.